Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to try and solve today's Times Cryptic crossword, the first Masterclass of the new year. A very, very happy new year to you all. Everybody who's been following these Masterclass videos, I think we've been doing them for well over 2 years now, so hopefully you've found that your skills have improved over that time. Actually, congratulations to one of our viewers, the Don, who last weekend finished his first, I think it was a Telegraph crossword rather than a Times crossword, but completely unaided, just by having watched these Masterclass videos, finished the whole thing. That is the sort of thing that we like to hear. And actually, what better time than the 2nd of January to make a New Year's resolution to ourselves to improve our solving. I certainly intend. It's my vocabulary, I think, that needs a bit of a bump. I've got my dictionary now. Hopefully, I'm just going to check I'm recording this in a slightly different format on the screen today, with the idea being that it might be slightly simpler to follow what's going on in terms of the dictionary. So you can see, I think it's there. I think we're all good on that. And today's puzzle is by Mark Kelmanson, who constructs the listener crossword occasionally under, I think, the pseudonym Monk. I still remember a Monk puzzle from my first days of doing the listener, which must have been early 2000s. So that is the sort of quality we're dealing with today. I think the puzzle's hard as well. Oh goodness. Okay, well these are very interesting times. Magoo, Mark Goodliffe, is it 13-time Times Crossword champion, in with 9:39. Matthew Marcus in with 11 minutes. Matthew won the Times Crossword Championship 2 years ago. John McCabe is in there with a sub 6 minute time. Some of the times that John has been recording over the last year or two have just been frankly incredible. So John doesn't seem to have had much trouble with it, but everybody else you can see here. Jason James is a phenomenal solver. Dean's a brilliant solver, and it's taken Dean 15 minutes 47 seconds. This is clearly a monster. Anyway, with that said and done, let's get cracking, and let's hope that we can do ourselves some sort of justice. I'm just going to check that the recording looks like it's in the right place, and it does. So that's splendid. Right, 1 across, 9 letters. Following delay of months, slander hospital departments union. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's a quick recap. If you're completely new to cryptic crosswords, you may not know this. Every single one of these clues contains a straight definition of the answer to be entered. The trick is to work out where that definition is in the clue. It's very often at the start of the clue or the end of the clue. The rest of the clue is a recipe. It may not read quite like a recipe, but it will be a recipe that tells you how to build up the answer. So it might say anagram this and put that inside another word, or it might say reverse a word or something like that. So the first job that we have with all these clues is to somehow work out how to read them properly. And I'm going to move swiftly on because I've just had a quick look at one down and I can do that. So let's have a look at this. 5 letters. Fool's judge, not quite. All these clues, by the way, they will conjure up images and pictures in your mind when you read them, especially if you read them as sentences. Ignore that. Those things are not going to help you solve the clue. So don't think of somebody standing before a judge trying to get away with something here. It's got nothing to do with the answer. Our job first is to work out, do we think that this is a 5-letter word that means fools, or does it mean quite, or does it mean not quite? And the trick really is just to think about what not quite might mean. And in a cryptic crossword world, what this is always telling you to do is to think of a 6-letter word for judge, and we're going to take not quite the whole thing. So we're only going to take the first 5 letters. And one of the hard things when you first start doing cryptic crosswords is you might say, well, why is it the first 5 letters? Why isn't it the last 5 letters? It's just convention. It will always be the first 5 letters. So not quite all of a 6-letter word that means judge. Now, if you judge something, you assess it. And if we take almost all of the word assess, just cross off that last S, we can create asses. And people who are asses are fools. Now let's try and not be an ass. And let's go back to one across then. Nine letters. Following delay after something of months slander. Hospital Departments Union. I don't know what's going on with this. One thought I had was if a good tip to try and get better at these puzzles is to assemble in your mind a bank of short synonyms for words. Can you think of a very short synonym for slander? If you slander somebody, especially in modern parlance, you might diss them, D-I-S. Now, hospital can be abbreviated to H. I suspect that isn't what's required here, but just let me show you that. Any abbreviation has to be supported by the dictionary. I say this every week, with very few exceptions. Oh, no, yeah, there it is, hospital. It can, let me just check you. Yeah, that's working, you can see it. So, what, dis plus H would create dish, wouldn't it? Which is quite a nice sort of series of letters together. Department. I suspect, though, it's hospital department. Hospital department is very often ENT for ear, nose and throat, believe it or not. But it could be ER, it could be ICU. Union can be U. Let me just show you that one. I'm pretty sure it can be anyway. Now it won't be, and I'll feel silly, but in my mind, union could be you. Oh goodness, no, it's not there, is it? Maybe I'm just thinking of trade union. Gosh, I wouldn't have thought twice about that. That's very distressing. Maybe it's in the new dictionary. Union. Following delay. Slander. Oh, I wonder if you delay an abbreviation for months, which can be M, in a word that means slander. If you slander someone, you mar? To mar be to slander? I don't know. I quite like that thought. If you delay the abbreviation for M, or for months, M, in a word that means slander. I was thinking of a word like armistice or something. It's not that. Let's try 9 across anyway. Five letters. Depraved scene from love party, embodied by aggressive submissive proclivity. What? Aggressive submissive proclivity? What? That sounds sort of aggressive submissive. Is this a hidden depraved scene? What is this going on about? This is particularly a clue. You shouldn't dwell on the images it might conjure up in your mind. Depraved scene from love party. I haven't got a clue. Best not to dwell on it. Let's try this one. 11 across. 9, 6. Monarchies asserting vetoes abroad. Okay, now this one is a little bit easier. I mean, I'd say that. I hope for some of you who've been doing these crosswords for a while, you might have some ideas about what's going on with this one. 9, 6, so it's 15 letters. And I don't know why, but my brain looks at this clue and knows it's an anagram without really reading the clue. It just, there's something about asserting vetoes that it like tickles a point in my brain and says, wow, that's two strange sets of letters to be put together. And then once I get the tickle, I'm looking for what is it about the clue that tells me it's an anagram? Because in a cryptic crossword clue, you can't just have it. You can't leave asserting vetoes and expect the solver to know it's an anagram. There must be a word or a phrase that tells you to anagram them. And here that phrase or word is abroad. If something is abroad, it's sort of on a trip, isn't it? It's moving. So asserting vetoes the letters need to move around to create a phrase that for monarchies, and I think it's going to be, is it sovereign states? It looks like that's the anagram fodder there. Now, what we probably ought to do is to go to here, this one. Let's go there, because it's a starting letter, obviously. So 12 down, 3431. Film of Charles upset Diana briefly. So again, it'll conjure up images if you're familiar with the British royal family. And, well, okay, this isn't too bad, because especially given the context, Charles and Diana, you're probably thinking, oh, that's King Charles now. So can we think of a film that might go in here? Well, I think it's going to be The King and I. It's like Yul Brynner. I want to say Yul Brynner and Deborah Winger. That's probably totally wrong. This is one of those weird things about crosswords and general knowledge. I have never seen that film, and yet for some reason I'm almost certain it's got Yul Brynner in it, and don't know why I think that. And then Deborah Winger jumped in my brain, and I mean I could be a generation out, and I wouldn't know. Anyway, the human brain is, especially my brain, is a peculiar thing. Now, why is it The King and I? So film is the definition. Charles, the King. Upset. Oh, I see. And then it's an anagram of Diana briefly. So again, this word briefly is a bit like the clue we saw earlier where it said not quite. We take the word Diana and we cut off its last letter. In cryptic crossword land, that is making it more brief, making it shorter. And then we upset those letters. So we upset D-I-A-N to give A-N-D-I. And that is therefore why that is the correct answer. Let's try 2 down. 11 letters. People from Indiana share twin sons. That's a great clue. People from Indiana share twin sons. People. The American states, they all have 2-letter abbreviations, and actually some of them have 3-letter, or maybe they all have 3-letter abbreviations as well. I'm thinking California can definitely be CAL. So I don't know whether Indiana is IN or IND. People share twin sons. All I'm thinking about with twin sons is S can be an abbreviation for son, or sons actually. So maybe twin sons is trying to hint at a double S ending. I'm not wedded to that idea though. The King and I hasn't really given us any good checking letters. Let's go for 6 across. 5 letters. Public school. Lodge reported. Right. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know what this is at first blush, but I'm pretty certain it's going to be the name of a public school. And what's this phrase, lodge reported, meaning? Well, whenever you see the word reported in a cryptic crossword clue, it's going to indicate a homophone, basically. So we're looking for a word that sounds like it could be defining the word lodge, but it could be spelt differently and sound the same. And in that different spelling, it will have the meaning of being a public school. So your first thought is Eton. If you see public school in cryptic crosswords, it's very often going to be a reference to Eton. Next would probably be Harrow. I'm trying to think of a 5-letter public school. I think there's a school in Cambridge called the Purse, but I think it is called the Purse rather than just Purse. And you couldn't you can't ignore the fact that the would be part of the school's name. So, public school, 5 letters. Winchester? Stowe. Stowe is a public school. And if you stow something away, yeah, that's right, S-T-O-W-E. And so, yeah, so sorry, let me explain why. To stow, if you stow a package, you would lodge it somewhere, wouldn't you? Put it somewhere. So I think it's stow, because they sound exactly the same, although they have different spellings. So 6 down is 7 letters. Hurt forces brought up case for 3 days. Hurt forces brought up case for 3 days. Right. I haven't got this yet, but I think I can start to understand how to read it. So again, we've got to go through the exercise. Is this a 7-letter word? For hurt? Hurt forces, perhaps? Or days, or 3 days? Now, the thing is, I did when I first read the clue, I thought, do I know any words that mean 3 days? Like a word like weekend, obviously, that's 2 days, but some similar word like that. And my first thought was no. So then I start to think about whether I know any 7-letter words for hurt or to hurt. And I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that makes me look at the other side of the clue as the recipe. And what does this case for 3 days mean? Well, the case of the word 3 is its sort of coating, its first and last letters. They are the things that case the innards of the word. So the case for 3, I think, is going to be TE. And that's really nice because D can be an abbreviation for days. Let's go and check that with the dictionary. And hopefully I won't be hoisted by my own petard this time. I mean, I know days can be D, so it is going to be there. Day. Interestingly, it's there as the singular. It can be days as well. Hang on. Let me just try and prove that to you. It really can. I'm not making it up. There again, it's the singular. That's really interesting, actually. Maybe it's my antiquated version of Chambers, but I'm certainly not worried about that being D. It feels right. And so we're looking for forces. So I'm looking for a 4-letter word for forces that I'm going to bring up. Now this is a down clue, so if we bring something up, we're going to reverse it. And the whole thing is going to mean hurt. It smarted. And that's the answer. Because to ram is to force. And there we go. So we've managed to get there, even though my abbreviation knowledge seems to be letting me down. Now let's have a look at this before we look at the clue, because that D looks quite interesting, doesn't it? I can't think of anything. That's pathetic. It's add something, I think. I don't know. Oh, adhere is what it's going to be. So 6 letters. Stick notice in the Times. Well, if something sticks to something, it adheres, doesn't it? So adhere looks good. Okay, and then now this is obviously the Times crossword from today. So if you put a notice is a sort of euphemism for an advert, in the Times, you would put an ad here. That's very nice. And the question mark there is to note that Mark's being a little bit playful with language there. Now let's try 8 down, which we've got good letters for now. 9 letters. Continental jargon primarily, used in sensitive regressive summit. Euro speak? Is that continental jargon? It could be. A peak would be a summit. I've never heard of that. Is there something called Euro speak? Is that like continental jargon? Say if something's sensitive, it's sore. Okay, so this is correct, believe it or not. So how does it work from a recipe point of view? Primarily used is saying take the primary letter of the word used, its first letter. That's that U. That goes in sensitive, regressive. Well, that's saying find a short synonym for sensitive, and that's SORE, S-O-R-E. That's treated in a regressive way, so it reverses. So we get this euros for the start, and then a summit is a peak, P-E-A-K at the end. I mean, it's very difficult. The only reason that's really solvable is because we had so many letters in it. If you started there, well, good luck. 7 down. 3 letters. Old newspaper, much of the time in verse, ? Okay, so again, go through the process in your brain. Decide, make a positive decision. What are you looking for a synonym for here? If you're thinking old or old newspaper, no, it's not that. What we're actually looking for is a word that means much of the time in verse. And so we're looking for a poetic word. And old can be abbreviated to O. Can we think of any 2-letter newspapers? Well, the pink one in the UK is often referred to as the FT, the Financial Times. So oft is what we're after there. And oft is a poetic word that means often, much of the time. Let's try 10 across. 9 letters. Second-rate artiste. Carrying more weight on the thigh. On thigh, I should say, not on the thigh. Second rate. If you see second rate, often it will just be the letter B. And I think that comes from sort of exams. You know, if you got an A, that would be the best rating you could get, and a B and would be second rate. So second rate could be B. Artist or artiste carrying more weight on thigh. Carrying more weight on thigh. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think this is going to be the name for a part of your thigh or the thigh. Second rate, I think, will be B. Artiste, I'm wondering whether that could be actor. I don't know about this carrying more weight. So that's going to mean that inside are whatever we come up with for the second-rate artiste. We need to put a short synonym that means more weight. Like fatter or something, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Should we try 5 down? 6 letters. Breaking in. Tense street urchin lowering head. Breaking in. Tense street urchin. What? I mean, that's quite an interesting. Breaking in. Okay, I mean, I haven't got this, but I think I can pass it. I actually think this is going to be a 6-letter word, which means breaking in. Now, tense can be abbreviated to T. Let's just... I've not got a good record today on this, but it really can. I don't know why that is. It is a valid abbreviation. But there it is. Tense there. Now, and then I think we're looking for a 5-letter word for a street urchin. And lowering the head, well, this is a down clue. So if we're going to lower the first letter of the street urchin to the bottom. So I suppose one way of viewing that would be that we're looking for a 5-letter street urchin that ends in N. And there are weird old words for street urchins. Like, I want to say hoyden. Is that? I mean, that's 6 letters, but I think that's a word. That's a word maybe for like Minnie the Minx type character, I think. now I'm going to show my ignorance by this not being a word. A tomboy. Well, it's not so bad. It doesn't really say street urchin. Is it tatterdemalion as well, or something? There's a weird word that I can never spell. Yeah, no, I can't. As you can see, I can't spell it. Street urchin. A scamp. I want something ending in N though. Or let's try it the other way. So if we're right about how to read the clue, I need a 6-letter word that means breaking in, and it probably begins with T. Breaking in is taking? It can't be taking. Oh, gammon. Yeah, there is a word. I actually thought it was 6 letters. Gamine. But maybe that can be shortened. Is breaking in gaming? Because then, if gammon, if gammon doesn't need an E on the end, then we could have that word. Tame. Oh yeah, no, okay, yes, if you break in a horse, you tame it. That's right. Okay, so goodness me, so I must be wrong about gammon then. I'm totally wrong. Oh, okay. No, so gammon is a word. A girl of a pert, boyish appearance, so a bit like a hoyden. And a gammon is just the street urchin, boyish or impish. Wow. Okay, but now let's go back to 10 across. I'm just trying to look at the letters before I look back at the clue. Ham. Is it ham something? A second-rate artiste would be a ham. A ham is somebody who overacts on the stage. Ham fatter. No. I mean, if that's a word, it fits the clue. I've never heard of that word before. Second-rate artiste is a ham, and then carrying more weight on would be fatter. And then if a word for your thigh is, I'm going with that. I mean, that must be right. I mean, it works with the wordplay. It works with the checking letters. Ham fatter. Oh, a third-rate minstrel. Oh, good. So okay, hang on then. A variety artist to act badly. So hang on, second-rate artiste is the definition then, is it? Ham fatter. Oh, I see. So carrying more weight on the thigh is the sort of cryptic recipe. Because your ham would be fatter. Okay, so well, I mean, it shows how little I know about the word ham fatter, but we learn something new every day. Let me just check that this is still recording properly. Yes, it all looks splendid. There we go. Right, let's have a look at 4 down. 8 letters. Defective electronic chips core. Codes formed. Imitative words. There's a lot going on in that, isn't there? Defective electronic chips core. Codes formed. Imitative words. Echo something. Defective. I don't know. I wondered formed imitative words. Could that be the definition? Echoized or something like that. Again, not a word I know. Imagine that was a word. Echoized. Why would that fit the recipe? Defective. It's got an anagram of codes. Yeah, it is that. It is that. Defective here is being used as an anagram indicator. What do we anagram? We anagram E, which is an abbreviation for electronic, and that's not controversial. Email, for example, electronic mail. Chips core is a lovely way of saying we're going to take the heart of the word chip. So we're not talking about a computer chip's core, we're talking about the word core, chip, and taking its middle, which is the letters H and I. So now we've got 3 letters for our anagram fodder, but we add to that codes, and that gets us up to 8. We anagram all of that. We get echoized, not a word I know, but I'm guessing it must be in the dictionary. Echoized. Oh, well, it's there as an intransitive verb. Well, I mean, we know what echo means, doesn't it? So, formed imitative words. I'm not sure if I can. I mean, it feels right, doesn't it? I just can't see it exactly in there, but it certainly sounds like the right definition. So now for one across, we've got to end. Oh gosh, I tell you what, it's going to end ENT for the hospital department. So let's put that in. Now, if that's correct, that's sort of that hospital department part of the clue is the last bit of the recipe, isn't it? So we are looking for a word that means union, I think. Following delay of months. So to slander. So we're looking for probably, I think, a 6-letter word for slander then. Malign. Alignment. Alignment. Is that a union? Yeah, if you have an alignment of your views with somebody, you would have a union of you'd come, your views would be in sync with them, in union with them. I think that's fine. Alignment. So malign is to slander. We delay the M. So we had the passing right. I just didn't think of the word. And now, okay, so now let's go for 3 down, which I don't think we've looked at. 7 letters beginning with N. Head of state no longer in charge following union of cardinals. Numeric. Again, the issue that we might have when we read this clue is we allow it to conjure up images of the Vatican and the cardinals and the Pope, perhaps, all creeping into our brain. No. Do not allow yourself to be misled. Head of state. I'm not thinking of the Prime Minister or a President there. I'm thinking of the head letter of the word state. I take no notice. Well, no, that's not true. I try to take no notice of the images because I know that they will just mislead me. And cardinals here, I'm thinking of cardinal numbers as opposed to ordinal numbers. So I quite like numeric as a possible answer. Head of state no longer in charge. I don't quite know why it's numeric though. In charge is IC. Head of state no longer. Oh, is that? Goodness, yeah, I have got this. Right, this is actually pretty difficult. The head of the state no longer is a reference to our old Queen, actually, Queen Elizabeth II. And those of you who've been doing cryptic crosswords for any amount of time will be familiar that she was Elizabeth Regina, ER, in crosswords for decades and decades. So head of state no longer is this ER, followed by in charge IC. And that all follows a 3-letter abbreviation for a union, a trade union this time, the NUM, the National Union of Miners. And then we get a word, numeric, which means of cardinals. I mean, just in case you aren't familiar with the meaning of cardinal in this sense, let's find it here. A cardinal number, and then a cardinal number, oh, let me just scroll up so that appears, hopefully. Cardinal, how do I make it? How do I make cardinal? I don't know if I can make cardinal number go up high enough, but it says a number expressing quantity 1, 2, 3 as distinct from an ordinal first, second, third, etc. Now, let's go for 9 across then. Let me just check that I haven't moved everything around by messing about with the dictionary there. No, I think we're all okay. I think we're all okay. Oh, this is our deprived scene. Oh, is this Sodom and Gomorrah? S&M. I did wonder about S&M for the aggressive, submissive proclivity. How is this working? Depraved scene from love part. Oh, okay, right. So what we've got here, depraved scene is the definition. Now, Sodom was one of the biblical places where there was depravity. So that's being defined by depraved scene. And then love party, a love score in tennis is the score of 0, nothing. And O in cryptic crossword land can indicate such a score. And that is because of the definition of the word O. If we go to O in the dictionary, it can be, look, it's a noun here, in a series of numbers, 0 or nothing. So love is this O here. A party, if you go to a party, you might go to a do, and that's embodied by an aggressive, submissive proclivity. That's S&M, sadomasochism. So we get Sodom in the grid, and now we have to look at 2 down, where we've got the people from Indiana. Oh, so look, my idea that this might begin with IND is not so daft. People from Indiana. You see, I know that from people from various states in America, they're often known by, very difficult. Like, I'm going to make myself look silly here. I think a Tar Heel is something. I mean, it's not relevant to this clue, so now I have to look it up. What is it? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, it is. There we go. A North Carolinian. A North Carolinian is a Tar Heel. But somebody from Indiana. People. Indiana, share twin sons. A share of something is what? A division of it? Indivisions? No. No, I don't like that. Share twin sons. Okay, if you share something, you divide it. No, that's not enough. I'm trying to think of some way of making this end double S for the twin sons. Not the twin sons of Tatooine this time. Son has a different spelling. People from Indiana. Share twin sons. I'm sorry, I'm not getting that yet. Let's try 13 across. 8 letters. Took away cover from discharge. Pipe examined at both ends. Examined at both ends screams to me. That must be, look at the word examined and take both its ends. So take E and D. Now, if that's right, it's the last part of the recipe. So that would suggest we're looking at this. Immediately, we look at the other side of the clue then to see what the definition is. What is this 8-letter word? Took away. Deducted? Quite like that. I think that's right. Cover from discharge is saying take the covering letters of the word discharge. D at the start, E at the end. A pipe is a duct. And there we go. Deducted. Now, individuals is what... Oh, I'm so silly. Twin is dual. That's been easy. You've all been shouting at me. And I deserve to be shouted at. Individuals. So, how does it work? Indiana is probably IN. Share. A share is a divvy, is it? God, that is quite slangy. DIVI. And then twin, dual. Son can be an abbreviation. S can be abbreviation for sons. So let's just look up the part of that I'm slightly surprised about is divvy. Oh, there it is. Very much is there, isn't it? Wow. Okay, so individuals. And IN must be a valid abbreviation for Indiana. So, oh, and there it is. Now, if I put IND, is that also Indiana? Yes. Yes, it is. Right, 13 down. 9 letters. Beginning with D. Dry, ditty, regularly. Confused with 14. Oh, okay, so when you see, people often ask this question, what does it mean if you see a reference to another number in the clues? Well, sometimes it can be convert 14 into a Roman numeral. Very unlikely in this case. The Roman numeral for that is XIV, which you're probably not going to find in too many strings of letters. Very often it means look at 14. So go in your crossword and find 14 and look at the answer entered there, which is adhere. Now that's a 6-letter word, so let's go back to this one. I think this is quite interesting. It's going to, because ditty regularly, when you see phrases like regularly, it means either take the letters from the word ditty in the odd positions, so positions 1, 3 and 5, or the even positions 2 and 4. We're going to take regularly occurring letters. Now, in order to get 9 letters, because that's what we need, we've got adhere. Let's take the odd numbered letters, D, T and Y, and we're going to confuse that string of letters. And I'm pretty sure we can get dehydrate from that. And if you dry something, you dehydrate it. Now, should we be on the lookout for pangrammage? Maybe not, actually. We have got some interesting letters. We've got K's and V's and Y's. But we haven't had... Was it Monk who did the quintuple pangram? There is a puzzle, I think I covered it on the channel years ago, which turned out to be... I mean, it's amazing to make a pangram, which is a crossword that contains all the letters of the alphabet once each. Very occasionally you may see a double pangram, and that is quite a thing. But I have a feeling that Monk was the one who... There is a puzzle. I think it was a quintuple pangram. I don't know. Might be misleading. Anyway, let's try 16 across. I'm getting distracted. Which is 6 letters beginning with H. Catch, securing, edges of door plate in tank. Catch. I mean, it must be. If you catch something, you hear it, don't you? So I quite like the idea. Yeah, a header. A header is a type of tank in plumbing, I think. I'm not very good at plumbing. I wish I was. I am so bad at plumbing, in fact. I've got a sink in my house. And for reasons only known to the sink, the plug, which is like a rotating thing, it like rotates on a spindle, it's got stuck in the closed position. And I tried to open it again by hammering it with a chisel. That was not the right thing to do. It really didn't work. And it's still not moved. And now the plug looks a bit bashed in. And I don't know how to mend it. And then I thought, oh, what I could do is try and take off the pipe that leads down from the sink with a view to sort of poking up a screwdriver or something up and bashing it from the bottom. You can see my approach to DIY is very much involved in bashing things. But then when I took the pipe thing off the bottom, I couldn't then reattach it, and I couldn't get my screwdriver wasn't long enough. So it's all completely and utterly busted. Anyway, that's a long way of saying I shouldn't be allowed near DIY. I should only be able to do crosswords and puzzles all day. That is what is much safer for me to do in the house. Anyway, yeah, I think there is a header tank. I don't know what it is, but I think there is. So if you catch something, you hear it. That secures, so it has within it the edges of door plate. Well, the edge letters of the phrase door plate are the starting D and the final E. And that gives header, which is the, let's look it up actually and just, I mean, I'm sure it's right, but let's see what the tank is. There we go, header tank. A reservoir that maintains an apparatus or system relying on pressure, e.g. plumbing or gravity feed. There we go. Now, we haven't looked at this one yet, which is a very long 15-letter answer. All one word. Regrettably, couple that initiates divorce, furtive about settling. Regrettably. It must mean regrettably. Something Engly at the end. Regrettably. Okay, let's go with that hypothesis. If it ends ingly and begins dis, how does that fit into the recipe? Couple that initiates divorce. Okay, that is going to be the couple of letters that initiate the word divorce. DI. Furtive. If you're furtive, you're stealthy. Or maybe you're just sly, actually. Yeah, that's probably right. It's probably just sly. And then we need that. So this is a long word for settling. It's like a 10-letter word. I was thinking of alighting, but that's 9 letters. Settling. Regrettably. Oh, I don't know. My brain isn't telling me. Let's have a look at 22 down and see if this Y is justified. 5 letters. Second person finally seen collecting litter. Young? Yeah. Okay, I think it is young. Y is a bit trickier. The second person in grammar is you. Finally seen collecting, I think, is saying take the final letters of the word seen, N, and the word collecting. That's a bit harder to see. That gives us young, and your young are your litter. Sort of, and that is going to give us a U in this one. 5 letters. London Authority protects river for locals. Really? Okay, I mean, I really hope this is right because I have never heard of this. But is this a hidden? So you can get more than one of these in Times Crosswords nowadays, but basically a hidden, if you're new to cryptic crosswords, these are like manna from heaven. These are where the answer is actually spelt out in the clue. And if you look in the phrase London Authority, you can see spelt out D-O-N-A-U. Now, is that... And the reason the constructor has to tell you they've hidden the answer in the clue. And what tells you here is the word protects. Because the way we're meant to read this grammatically is that the phrase London Authority protects. It has within it, it shields the letters we're looking for. So if I'm right, river for locals is Donau. Now, I'm confident enough that that's correct, although I've never heard of it, that I will attempt to look it up in the dictionary. I suspect, though, it may be a proper name. Yeah, see, it's not there. Wow. So, that's going to be terrible if that D is unjustified by 19 down. Let's have a quick look there. No, let's look at 18 across ending in K. I should have looked at this already. 4-4. Good buzz surrounding Polish play in rugby. Play in rugby must be drop kick or something. Good buzz surrounding... Oh, is it grub kick? Oh, I think I've heard it more in the phrase grubber, which is I think when they kick a low kick in rugby, it sort of runs along the floor and the ball bounces everywhere. But grub kick would work from a recipe perspective. Good can be G, but a word for a buzz is a kick. If you get a kick out of something, you get a buzz out of it, and that surrounds. Note this Polish or Polish word has a capital here, but it's actually referring, if you polish, if Aladdin polished his lamp, he would rub it, wouldn't he? So rub and polish are synonymous, but Mark's tried to mislead us by making it look like this is the word Polish and the play in rugby. So let's now look at 19 down, which is 5-2. Incorporate legal draft delivered prior to crash. Incorporate. Build in. Legal draft delivered prior to crash. I quite like build in. Build in would have an I here as well, which looks good with this being ing, doesn't it? So let's put build in for incorporate. Legal draft. Oh, lovely. Lovely. A legal draft and then this word delivered. If you deliver a speech, what do? You say it. And if you say something, it's something somebody can hear. So this is a homophone indicator. And a bill, as in the finance bill, is a draft of an act of something that people hope will become an act of Parliament in due course. It has to go through Parliament. It has to go through the Commons and the Lords 3 times and then get royal assent, I think, to become an act. So legal draft is bill, which sounds exactly in the word build in as the BUIL part of this. And then a crash must be a din, as in a loud noise, I suppose. It feels right, doesn't it? Now, but where do we go from there? I really need some help with this settling. Let's go for 23. 9 letters. Beginning with A. Bizarre dream, not the first. Okay, let's stop there. I hope, if you've been following along, your thoughts here will hopefully go, okay, I need an anagram of the word dream, because I'm treating those letters in a bizarre way. Not the first. Okay, so I need to anagram the word dream without its first letter, so just R-E-A-M. And may prove not to be relevant here, but that is exactly where my brain is, and I haven't read the rest of the clue yet. Oh, bizarre dream, not the first. Okay, I think I'm wrong. The bizarre dream, not the first. That. Okay, how about then? Well, that involves intro to Finnegan's Wake. It's going to be aftermath. And this is lovely setting here, because it's very difficult in our minds. When we see Finnegan's Wake here, we all know that as a work of literature. So splitting it up in our brain and saying, no. This is actually not Finnegan's Wake in terms of solving this crossword clue. We need to cut it between the word Finnegan's and the word wake. We are looking for a word that means wake, which is the aftermath of something. And now we have to let the recipe give us this answer. And it does, because we were right. We take off the first letter of dream. That gives us R-E-A-M. That's T-H-A-T. So we're anagramming here R-E-A-M, the word that, and the introduction to the word Finnegan's, the F. And that's that F. We mix all those up and we get aftermath. Now let's go for 26, 5 letters. Horse bet essentially £1. Okay. This is a funny word for a horse. If you're familiar with the Peter, is it the Peter Shaffer play? Is it Peter Shaffer or Peter Schaefer? In my view, quite a strange play, but it's called Equus. And so you may have heard of equestrianism, equine sports. These are all coming from the same root. But I think a horse is an equid. Now, if that was right, is it supported by the wordplay? Yes. The essence, bet essentially, is saying take the essence of the word bet. The essence of something is its heart, its core. So that's the letter E. And £1, we would all colloquially refer to that as a quid. So equid. Let's check the dictionary. Equid. There we go. A member of the family Equidae, which are a family of hooved mammals, consisting of the genus Equus, the horse, ass, and zebra, and various fossil forms. There we are. Now, what's this? Tor? Leading trio to sign, letter overseas. Okay, yeah, that's quite tricky. It's not tricky now we've got T blank U. What we're looking for here, and this actually, if you want to study things to improve your solving, learning the Greek letters, if you're not familiar with them, is probably a good thing to do. This is Tor, which I've now managed to mistype, T-A-U. Why? Well, we have to take the leading trio to sign. So what that refers to, believe it or not, is we have to think about the signs of the zodiac. Now, one of the signs of the zodiac is Taurus, and we're taking the first 3 letters of Taurus, T-A-U, to give us, so that's how the recipe gives us T-A-U, to give us letter overseas, which means a letter from an overseas alphabet, the Greek alphabet in this instance. Now, we must have a chance of getting 17 down now. 7 letters, beginning with E. Met maker of saw that's turned up in River D. I hope this doesn't require any knowledge of people who make saws, because I will refer you back to the early conversation. I am not very knowledgeable about saw makers. I mean, a saw, in a literary sense, is like an adage. If you met maker, does that mean sort of expired or something? That's turned up in river. Yeah, I suspect this is a word for met maker, and if you euphemistically meet your maker, you die, don't you? So I quite like expired here. Now, the thing I don't... Can to saw be to rip? What's that? Disappointingly? Settling. Appointing? Is that settling? Oh, approving. Disapprove, regrettably, disapprovingly. Okay, I'm not sure about this, but met maker might be expired. Saw that's turned up. Well, if rip is synonymous with saw, then you can see rip is turned up in this answer, and that's in River D. This is not referring to the River D. This is referring to a river, which in this instance is the River X, E-X-E, and the letter D, which has a spelling, I will show you now, which is D-double-E. This is another thing that is probably worth knowing. D-double-E, the 4th letter of the alphabet. So I think expired is justified if saw can mean rip. To saw and to... I don't know. I think if we get 21 across from this P, then I'm certainly happy enough with it. So I'm wondering about disappointingly. So appointing would have to be settling. Regrettably, disappointingly. It certainly is that they do mean the same thing. To appoint is to settle, is it? I'm not sure about that meaning. It probably is, but let's see if we can keep going with these checking letters. Let's go for this one. 15 down. 8 letters. Scold Henry in school location of Maggie's education. Again, I think the clue is trying to get at sort of Thatcherism and where was Margaret Thatcher? Grantham. She was the MP for Grantham, I think. Scold. If you rant at somebody, you scold them. I think this is Grantham. That's really difficult. I mean, if you're not from England, or you don't have an encyclopedic knowledge about Margaret Thatcher, that is going to be very difficult. But rant is to scold. Henry is a scientific unit. I can't remember. Is it a unit of pressure or something? Let's go and look at that. So Henry, that's why it can be abbreviated to H. Henry, it's an SI unit. Oh, inductance, not pressure. Oops. And then that all goes in GAM. Oh, and a GAM is a school in fishing. GAM. So school there is not referring to education, it's referring to fish. A collective noun for whales, a school. I think they can also be called a pod. So a location of Maggie's education. So maybe Margaret Thatcher was educated in Grantham. I don't know that. But it does bode well for disappointingly, doesn't it? Now let's try 27 then. 9 letters. Soldiers charging Roman Catholic gathering, ultimately feeling sorrow. Soldiers charging Roman Catholic gathering. Soldiers lamenting would be what I would think this is. Because that's a word that means sorrow. And yeah, just to explain how I got to that, ultimately feeling made me think that's the ultimate letter in the word feeling. That would be a G, and I've got a G there. So immediately then I'm thinking, well, I need a 9-letter word for sorrow. I couldn't think of that immediately. But soldiers charging, if you charge a glass, what do? You fill it. So I'm then thinking, I need a word for soldiers. Do I know any short synonyms or euphemisms for soldiers? The soldiers would be the men. So I was thinking MEN is going to fill a word for a Roman Catholic gathering, which I had no clue about. But can I think of a word for sorrow now from this? I can. I think it's lamenting. That makes Latin the word that means the Roman Catholic gathering. And I've heard of Latin Mass, so I presume that's what we need here at Latin. So I wouldn't change it. So let's go to Latin and see if it is a gathering for the Roman Catholics. What's it meant to mean? Roman Catholic. Oh, no, okay, I'm wrong. Roman Catholic is a Latin. That seems clear from the definition here. And then gathering, ultimately, it wasn't the ultimate letter of the word feeling. It was the ultimate letter of the word gathering, and feeling sorrow is the definition of which is lamenting. I suppose, does sorrow mean lamenting? Maybe, but it's clearer if it's feeling sorrow. And now we've just got one left. 2-4, 20 down, fat cat, completely extra. An extra in cricket is a no ball, and a fat cat is a knob, N-O-B. That's just a weird synonym you sort of come to learn over time. A person of wealth. There we go. So we've got fat cat, knob, completely all, giving no ball an extra in cricket, and I think we're there. So actually we should, I'm not going to change it now. In fact, let's just check it's right. I think it is right. I might have made a typo, but yeah, no, it's correct. So appointing and settling must be synonymous, mustn't they? To appoint and to, oh, there it is, to fix, to settle. It says it immediately. And the other one was rip and saw, wasn't it? Let's just check that. Oh, to saw timber, there it is. Wow. To split or saw timber with the grain. That's lovely. So it's a great puzzle, and a splendid start to 2026. And I will have a quick go, hopefully a quick go at the quick cryptic as well. Now I'm hoping that when I click, I think it's a smaller grid, so it should just fit on the screen. Let me just try and check that is going. Yeah, that's fine, isn't it? So old apartment beginning to erode recently is of late. Oh, flat E. Place for cleaning, club jumper in centre of Richmond. Place for cleaning. I don't know. Lawn, no, don't know. Accompany Charlie in unusual store. Escort. This is by Breadman, by the way. Formerly transfer. Italian gentleman touring outskirts of Venice. Formerly transfer. Give over. Maybe something like that. Roguish demonstration without leader. A demonstration is a sit-in or a proof. I don't know. Card games fashionable still. Oh, I don't know. Why can't I do any of these answers? Tasteless stuff by Tati, Jacques Tati, I think. Hover in quiet to first-class Asian city. Shanghai, is it? Probably. Adores holding first of annual bloomers. I don't know. Place for cleaning. Washroom? Club jumper. A jumper is a roo, as in a kangaroo. Bathroom. Bat. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okay. Adores. Is this loves then somehow? Adores. Don't know. Was this omelette? Oh, omerta. Mafia code. Secure, part of Barnet, lock, hair reference, deserter, playing truant holds firm. Turncoat is the answer there. If I could type it. Silent Greek character, mute. Fashionable. Still fashionable. Why can't I do that? Roguish. What's this one? Oh, this was the former. It was something over, sign over, senior, yeah. Okay, so it does look like, oh, loaves for bloomers, that's lovely, very good. Fashionable, sorry, card game, snap. Fashionables, snapshot, snaps hot, very clever. Love, light, that's nil, that's easier. Testing, second electronic device with Heather. Sampling, no, testing. It must be. Oh, an amp is an electronic device. Oddball yelped intensely. I should be able to do that and can't. Director General keeping healthy in house is it well in. Complete set of books found in. That's entire. US writer, one among anglers at sea. A US writer is. I can't see it quickly. Skillful piece of publicity, trio. Adroit is the answer there. Right. Worked out, child finally gave in, study. Work out, child finally gave in, study. I don't know. It's a lot going on there. Most ancient, eldest or oldest poem contains line. It's oldest. Oddball. Yelp intensely, deeply. Okay. Lido, probably. Perhaps a fixture at Burns night and helps regularly. Neep, as in a neep and a tatty. US rice Salinger, then I'll go for. Mother to fix mature marigold. That's a very nice clue again. Worked out, trained. Gave in, study. Worked out. Oh, child finally gave in. Oh, I don't know. I can't see it. Roguish demonstration without leader arch. And then what's this? Reasoned, worked out. Wow, that's a clever puzzle. It wasn't a very good time, unfortunately, but I think it was probably correct. Yeah, terrible, terrible, terrible. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll blame New Year. Just awful. There's nothing more to say. That was embarrassing, but but I intend to get better in 2026. Thank you very much. If you're still watching now, do let us know how you're getting on with your cryptic crossword solving. We enjoy the comments on these videos, especially when they're kind. And please do like, subscribe. That helps the algorithm, which doesn't like cryptic crosswords for reasons that are completely opaque to us. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.